You won't believe what just went down in the hip-hop world. Emotions ran high, chaos erupted, and fans are still in shock. Today we're diving deep into the jaw-dropping courtroom drama that has everyone talking. YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen, the names that dominated headlines for years, have finally been sentenced for murder. Yes, you heard that right, the same faces you've seen on your screens, making hits, living the fast life, and capturing millions of streams, now facing the harshest consequences of their actions. The streets are buzzing, the internet is on fire, and even their closest friends are struggling to process what's happening. Sources inside the courthouse are spilling details that sound straight out of a movie. Emotions ran high as Melly walked into the courtroom, head down, avoiding eye contact. While Bortlen seemed unshaken, almost defiant. Whispers of betrayal, family feuds, and shocking revelations about what led to that fatal night have started surfacing. And let me tell you, the details will leave your jaw on the floor. Fans have flooded social media, expressing disbelief, anger, and heartbreak all at once. Some defending the duo, others condemning every decision that led them here. But here's where it gets even crazier. Insider accounts suggest tensions exploded between Melly and Bortlen moments before the verdict was read. Rumors of secret deals, accusations, and even threats have surfaced, and people are asking, could this drama have been avoided? Could the fame and the lifestyle have pushed them over the edge? One thing's for sure, this isn't just a legal battle, it's a saga of loyalty, betrayal, and the dark side of fame that nobody saw coming. By the time we break down every explosive detail in this video, you're going to feel like you were sitting in that courtroom yourself, witnessing every shocking twist as it unfolded. Stick around, because what we're about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen. The day started like any other, but little did anyone know it would go down as one of the most explosive moments in hip-hop history. YNW Melly arrived at the courthouse, flanked by his legal team, looking tense, eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses. Fans and onlookers had already gathered outside, phones out, live streaming every step, every twitch of his face. The rumors had been swirling all week. Was this going to be the moment that ended Melly's career forever? Was there a last-minute twist waiting to drop that no one expected? The tension in the air was so thick it could be sliced with a knife. Inside the courtroom, YNW Bortlen was sitting across from Melly, his demeanor icy. Unlike Melly, he didn't flinch when cameras flashed. Instead, he leaned back, arms crossed, like someone who had already accepted the storm and was ready for whatever came next. Sources inside the courtroom say the judge's gavel hit the desk with a force that echoed through the room, and suddenly, all eyes were on the two young men whose lives were about to change forever. Emotions ran high as family members whispered, some trying to console, others exchanging pointed glares. The family was left divided. Melly's mom, with tears streaming down her face, clutched a picture of her son as if it were a shield. As Bortlen's cousin was shaking his head in disbelief, muttering under his breath about all the warnings they ignored. And then it happened. The prosecutor stood up, slamming a stack of papers onto the table. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is not just about fame, it's about justice, they declared. The words felt heavy, almost suffocating, and the room went silent except for the subtle hum of cell phones recording. Sources tell us that at this moment, Melly turned to Bortlen and muttered something that shocked even his attorneys. "We shouldn't have trusted anyone," he said, his voice low, tense, almost like a whisper that carried the weight of regret. Bortlen didn't respond, but the slight twitch of his lip told insiders he was already calculating his next move. Outside the courtroom, the energy was electric. Fans were screaming, and crying, and some were praying. Social media exploded in real time. Hashtags like #JusticeForYNW and #MellyBortlen trial were trending nationwide. Memes popped up instantly, speculating every angle of the case, from possible secret witnesses to hidden recordings. Some fans blamed the music industry, claiming fame had corrupted the young rappers. Others pointed fingers at their inner circle, suggesting betrayal had been brewing for months, maybe even years. One fan live streamed themselves saying, "I can't believe it. These were my heroes. Now everything's shattered." But the real drama began when the first witness took the stand. The witness, a former friend turned confidential informant, painted a picture of tension, arguments, and heated confrontations that nobody outside their circle had ever imagined. According to testimony, on the night of the incident had been a volatile mix of paranoia, jealousy, and miscommunication. They were arguing about money, loyalty, and who was really running things, the witness said, voice shaking. It was like watching a powder keg ready to blow. Courtroom attendees reported that Melly's hands trembled as the witness spoke, while Bortlen stared straight ahead, unreadable like a stone statue. The drama didn't stop there. In a shocking twist, the defense team presented text messages and social media posts that seemed to show Melly and Bortlen planning something entirely different, adding layers of confusion and suspicion. One message read, "We can't trust them. Watch your back." Insiders say this caused a ripple of murmurs through the courtroom. Some suggested these messages hinted at betrayal within their own crew, sparking wild theories outside the courthouse about who might have been involved behind the scenes. Fans dissected every word online, creating threads and videos, trying to decode the meaning like it was a thriller series. Emotions escalated further when Melly's mother, in a dramatic moment that had everyone holding their breath, rose from her seat and addressed the court directly. "He's not a monster. He's my son. He's made mistakes, yes, but he's not the person you're painting him to be." Her voice cracked under the weight of emotion, tears streaming down her cheeks. The room went silent. Even Bortlen's team seemed momentarily caught off guard. Courtroom sources said this was the first time Melly visibly broke down, the human side of the story coming through amid the legal chaos. Then, as if the tension couldn't get any worse, odd whispers started circulating about a possible secret deal. Was one of them cooperating behind the scenes? Did Bortlen have information that could change the verdict? Insiders say there were moments when the two exchanged quick, tense glances that seemed loaded with unspoken words. It was like watching two chess masters playing a game where every move could mean freedom or a lifetime behind bars. Rumors flew so fast that fans outside were practically holding their breath, cameras rolling, phones recording every possible reaction, turning the scene into a viral spectacle. Meanwhile, a former collaborator of Melly, speaking exclusively to sources, claimed that tensions had been mounting for months, fueled by jealousy, rumors, and internal conflicts over money and fame. They were like brothers. Oh, but brothers with knives behind their backs, the insider revealed. "I warned them, but nobody listened. Fame changes people. It exposes cracks, and when the pressure hits, it explodes." This revelation added another layer of shock, making everyone wonder how much of this was preventable and how much was inevitable once the spotlight shone too brightly. By the afternoon, the atmosphere in the courtroom had reached a boiling point. Every witness, every piece of evidence, every side glance contributed to a palpable sense of dread. People who had come expecting a routine sentencing were instead caught in a whirlwind of betrayal, tears, and explosive revelations. Sources report that even the bailiffs were whispering to each other, stunned at how quickly the courtroom drama had become more intense than any trial they'd seen before. And then, the most shocking twist of all unfolded. A surprise testimony from a previously unknown figure shook the entire room. The individual claimed to have been present during the planning stages of the incident, revealing details that contradicted everything that had been assumed. According to insiders, this testimony caused Melly to slump in his chair, covering his face in disbelief, while Bortlen's stoic exterior wavered just enough to let a flicker of panic show. Courtroom whispers erupted into audible gasps. The family, fans, and even the legal teams were left reeling, scrambling to process what this revelation meant for the verdict. By the time the first day concluded, the city was already buzzing. Headlines were popping up everywhere. Courtroom explodes in shock. YNW Melly and Bortlen's secret revealed. Fans react in chaos. Social media had no chill. Every fan, influencer, and street corner rapper seemed to have a theory about what had really gone down, who was to blame, and how this would affect the careers of the two young rappers. It wasn't just news, it was a cultural moment, a story that blurred the lines between music, fame, crime, and heartbreak. Even in private conversations, people close to Melly and Bortlen were confessing that the entire situation had become more than just a trial. "This is bigger than music," one insider said. "It's about loyalty, family, and the cost of fame, and nobody is ready for the fallout." Fans were left divided, some defending them as misunderstood, others condemning them as reckless. While the media capitalized on every shocking angle to push the story further into the viral stratosphere. As night fell, the tension didn't dissipate. It multiplied. People outside the courthouse were still live streaming, debating, crying, and speculating. Every message, every post, every reaction only added fuel to a fire that had already burned too brightly. One fan captured a moment of Melly leaving the courthouse, flanked by security, whispering to Bortlen in a way that seemed private but was instantly caught on camera. The video exploded online within minutes, leaving fans trying to decipher every word, gesture, and look. The suspense was unbearable, and the story was far from over. The following morning, the courthouse was already buzzing before the doors even opened. Reporters, influencers, and diehard fans had claimed every vantage point, live streaming every detail as though they were covering a major concert instead of a courtroom. Everyone knew that what was about to unfold could redefine the hip-hop world forever. Inside, YNW Melly sat quietly, flipping through papers, his face a mask of controlled anxiety. YNW Bortlen, on the other hand, seemed almost eerily calm, leaning back in his chair, scanning the room like a hawk. Court insiders later admitted that his composure was unnerving. It was like he knew something nobody else did. The morning session started with another round of testimony, this time from a former producer who had worked closely with both rappers. His words painted a picture of chaos behind the scenes. "They were always arguing," he said, voice trembling slightly. "Money, fame, who's really the boss? It was constant. I tried to stay out of it, but tensions were obvious to anyone who worked with them." The court murmured as the producer went on, revealing private messages and voice notes where the two rappers allegedly blamed each other for mistakes and even threatened to expose secrets if trust was broken. The room's energy shifted. Even the bailiffs were leaning forward, listening intently, aware they were witnessing history. Then came a twist that sent shockwaves through everyone present. A woman claiming to be a distant relative of Bortlen took the stand, and what she revealed was nothing short of explosive. According to her, there had been a confrontation the night before the incident, an argument that allegedly involved threats not only between Melly and Bortlen, but also directed at members of their inner circle. "It was like watching a hurricane in a house," she testified. "Everyone was yelling, doors slamming. I heard someone say, 'If you cross me, you're done.'" The courtroom erupted into whispers, and many leaned over to get a better view of the two men. Melly's head dropped into his hands, and Bortlen's jaw clenched visibly. Family members exchanged glances filled with fear and disbelief. The stakes had never felt higher. Social media was already ablaze. Clips of the testimony circulated within minutes, with captions like "shocking secrets revealed" and "Bortlen's family speaks out." Fans were divided, some defending the rappers, insisting they were victims of circumstance, while others argued that the revelations confirmed what many had suspected. Fame had pushed them over the edge. Influencers started posting reaction videos, each one trying to dissect the story, adding their own dramatic flair. Within hours, millions had seen snippets, with hashtags trending nationwide. As the day continued, the prosecution introduced evidence that seemed almost cinematic. Security footage allegedly showed the moments leading up to the fatal incident, highlighting movements and exchanges that could be interpreted in multiple ways. According to sources, one clip caused a collective gasp in the courtroom. In it, Melly appeared visibly agitated, gesturing at someone off camera, while Bortlen maintained his signature calm, as if he were orchestrating something behind the scenes. It was chilling, one insider said. "You could feel the tension just radiating from the screen. You could practically hear the storm brewing before it hit." The drama escalated further when a surprise witness was called, someone who had been completely under the radar until that moment. This individual claimed to have overheard private conversations that hinted at possible betrayal within their own crew. "They trusted the wrong people," the witness said, voice shaking. "They thought loyalty meant forever, but in that world, loyalty is expensive." The courtroom was electric, whispers turned into audible gasps, and even the media seemed momentarily stunned. Melly's mother buried her face in her hands, while Bortlen's cousin muttered, "I knew this would happen." Then came a moment that no one outside could have predicted. Melly, usually quiet during proceedings, suddenly stood and addressed the court in a voice trembling but firm. "I never wanted this. I made mistakes, but I never wanted anyone to get hurt," he said. The words hung heavy in the air, resonating far beyond the courtroom walls. Bortlen, sitting across from him, remained silent, eyes fixed on a distant point, but sources say there was a subtle nod, almost as if he understood the gravity of what Melly had just admitted. It was a rare glimpse into the humanity behind the headlines, and the room went silent in recognition of it. Meanwhile, outside, fans and reporters were piecing together every second, speculating on motives and alliances. Social media erupted with debate, debates, conspiracy theories, and emotional tributes. Some fans posted messages of support, while others demanded justice, creating an online war of opinion that mirrored the chaos inside the courthouse. Influencers like popular rap news commentators were dissecting every angle, from potential secret deals to hidden animosities that had never been public. Every detail, no matter how small, became fuel for viral content, keeping the story trending for hours. The tension inside the courtroom reached new heights when the prosecution played a voice recording allegedly from the night of the incident. The recording, described by insiders as heart-stopping, reportedly captured voices raised in anger, followed by a chilling silence that suggested the confrontation had escalated quickly. Witnesses described the courtroom reaction as a mixture of disbelief and horror. Melly's hands shook visibly as he listened, while Bortlen's face remained stoic, almost unnervingly so. Some family members reportedly fainted or were rushed out for support, unable to bear the weight of what they were hearing. A dramatic exchange between the two rappers followed shortly after. According to sources, Melly leaned over and whispered something to Bortlen that caused an immediate reaction. A sharp intake of breath, a tightened jaw, and then, unexpectedly, a small nod. Those present later described the moment as surreal, as if the two were silently acknowledging a truth too dangerous to speak aloud. Fans who managed to capture snippets of body language online went wild, dissecting every gesture for hidden meaning, creating hours of viral content that spread across platforms in minutes. And just when it seemed the day couldn't get any more intense, a final twist hit. Another witness stepped forward. This one claiming to have first-hand knowledge of a secret meeting that took place shortly after the incident, a meeting that allegedly involved discussions of blame, money, and potential cover-ups. They were trying to control the narrative, the witness testified. Everyone wanted someone else to take the fall. The courtroom collectively leaned forward, as if the walls themselves were straining to hear every word. According to insiders, the tension was so thick that even the air seemed charged, and whispers filled every corner of the room. By late afternoon, the public outside was almost as involved as those inside. People camped on street corners, live streaming updates, sharing every rumor, and posting reaction videos that racked up millions of views. Fans debated endlessly. Was this a story of betrayal, greed, or just the dangerous side of fame? Some argued that the rappers were victims of circumstance, while others claimed that this had been inevitable given the high-stakes lifestyle they led. Either way, no one could look away. Every twist, every revelation, every emotional exchange had become instant content for a world obsessed with drama. As the session ended, insiders reported that both Melly and Bortlen were visibly exhausted. The emotional toll, the pressure from family, fans, and the media had weighed heavily on them. Yet even in their exhaustion, there was a sense that the story was far from over. Both seemed aware that the next few days could redefine everything: careers, reputations, and lives. As the courtroom emptied, whispers of more surprises circulated like wildfire. Everyone, from the media to the fans, knew that the next headline could break the internet. Night fell, but the story didn't. Online forums, fan pages, and social media platforms buzzed with analysis, speculation, and hot takes. Every angle was dissected, from potential secret deals to family betrayals, creating an endless loop of content that ensured the drama would dominate headlines for weeks. The city was on edge, the fan base divided, and the hip-hop world watching closely, waiting to see what would happen next. By the end of the day, one thing was clear: this was more than just a legal battle. It was a story of loyalty, fame, betrayal, and survival. A story that would leave lasting impressions on everyone involved. And as fans shared their theories and reactions, one question lingered in the air: what really happened that night, and could it have been prevented? The suspense was unbearable, and everyone knew that the next day of testimony could change everything once again. The next morning, the energy outside the courthouse was electric. Fans had set up live streams, microphones, and even makeshift stages to capture every moment, turning the streets into a spectacle rivaling a major festival. Inside, the atmosphere was tense, almost suffocating. YNW Melly arrived looking worn, his usual swagger replaced by a nervous gait, glancing around the room like he was bracing for impact. Bortlen, as always, exuded that calm, calculated presence, hands folded neatly, eyes scanning everyone who entered. Court insiders later described the moment as a clash of storm and ice, emotions running high on one side, composure nearly unnerving on the other. The session began with the prosecution dropping a bombshell. A new piece of evidence had been uncovered. According to sources, it was a video clip allegedly showing a heated confrontation the night before the incident. In it, voices could be heard raising in anger, shadows moving in ways that suggested a fight was imminent. The room went silent as the video played, and witnesses later said they could feel the tension physically, like the air itself was vibrating. Melly flinched as the footage rolled, covering his face with his hands, while Bortlen's expression remained unreadable, almost as if he were daring anyone to question his composure. Then came the first dramatic verbal exchange between the two rappers since the proceedings began. Melly reportedly leaned over to Bortlen and hissed under his breath, "Oi, why didn't you tell me they were watching?" Bortlen's response was barely audible, but reportedly sharp and loaded with accusation. "You think I trust you? Look at the chaos we're in." Sources inside the courtroom described the exchange as electric, a powder keg of tension and hidden resentment finally sparking. Everyone present seemed to hold their breath, aware that this wasn't just a courtroom drama. It was a window into the real, unfiltered emotions of two men whose lives were crumbling under public scrutiny. The prosecution didn't let the tension linger too long. They called another witness, a former friend turned confidential informant, whose testimony allegedly added a layer of betrayal that stunned everyone. They weren't just arguing about money or fame, the witness claimed, voice shaking. There were people in their circle plotting against them. They didn't see it coming. The courtroom reportedly erupted in whispers and gasps. Melly's mother clutched her chest, visibly shaken, while Bortlen's family members exchanged anxious glances. Outside, social media lit up with speculation. Fans argued endlessly about who could have been the supposed betrayer, and dozens of fan pages began posting reconstruction videos, dramatizing the claims for viral content. Then came a shocking revelation that changed the tone of the entire proceeding. The defense presented a series of text messages allegedly between Melly and a previously unknown individual, hinting at a secret plan to prevent the incident from escalating. One message read, "I tried to stop it, but it's too late." According to insiders, this created a storm in the courtroom. People leaned forward, whispers became louder, and some jurors reportedly looked visibly stunned. Melly's hand shook as he glanced down at his own notes, and Bortlen's calm demeanor faltered for just a fraction of a second, a moment that did not go unnoticed by the observers in the room or the thousands following online. The story took another twist when a witness close to Bortlen's circle took the stand. They thought loyalty was unbreakable, but the truth is, trust in that world is fragile, they claimed. The courtroom was on edge as the witness detailed secret arguments, midnight meetings, and private confessions that had never surfaced publicly. Sources later said that Melly and Bortlen exchanged a tense look, brief but loaded with meaning, and that for a moment, it felt like the weight of everything they had hidden was finally being exposed. Fans outside screamed and cried as clips of the testimony were instantly uploaded online, dissected in real time, and debated across TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. The emotional intensity skyrocketed when Melly's mother rose to speak again. Her voice shook, but it carried a raw, undeniable power. "I raised him to be strong, to survive, to create. But fame, it broke him," she cried. "This isn't the end. He deserves to be seen as more than these headlines." Some family members nodded in agreement, while others looked frustrated, whispering to each other. Court insiders described the moment as electric, the kind of raw, emotional display that makes history feel alive. Fans online were split, some defending the mother's plea, others criticizing it as denial in the face of overwhelming evidence. Amid the courtroom chaos, a surprising twist unfolded. Bortlen allegedly smirked at a comment from a juror, sparking rumors among media and fans alike that he might have known about a last-minute deal. People outside speculated endlessly. Was there a secret agreement being negotiated behind the scenes? Was one of them about to get a reduced sentence? Or was this a psychological strategy to unsettle everyone? Influencers and online commentators went wild, posting reaction videos, memes, and predictions about what could happen next. By mid-afternoon, the story was trending nationwide, dominating feeds, news cycles, and late-night discussions. Then came one of the most shocking moments yet. An eyewitness claimed to have seen an argument erupt in the courthouse hallway just moments before the session resumed. According to their account, Melly and Bortlen allegedly exchanged heated words, accusations flying, hands gesturing wildly. "It was like watching a live-action movie," the witness said. "You could feel the tension from the other side of the building." Court insiders later confirmed that security had to intervene to prevent the confrontation from escalating further. Fans outside, who somehow got footage, immediately uploaded it online, causing thousands of comments and theories about what had been said and how it could affect the verdict. The prosecution wasn't done. They presented financial records that allegedly showed disputes over money and potential motives for betrayal within the crew. Courtroom observers described the documents as explosive. You could hear a pin drop, one insider said. The tension was almost unbearable. Everyone could see just how deep the conflict went. Fame, money, loyalty, all colliding in a way that nobody could predict. Social media exploded with breakdowns, analysis videos, and viral threads attempting to make sense of the chaos. Fans debated whether the disputes over money were the tipping point or if something more sinister had been brewing behind the scenes. The final testimony of the day brought the courtroom to a new level of intensity. A former associate who had stayed silent for years revealed shocking secrets that no one had expected. They trusted the wrong people, the witness said, and it cost them everything. The night it happened, as the decisions were made that can't be undone. According to sources, both Melly and Bortlen were visibly affected. Melly bowed his head, shoulders trembling, while Bortlen's hands clenched tightly. The family reportedly gasped, some covering their faces in disbelief. Fans online erupted in real time, reacting to clips, screenshots, and commentary, turning the moment into viral content within minutes. As the session ended, the court emptied, but the drama didn't dissipate. Reporters scrambled to get interviews, fans argued over live streams, and hashtags exploded across every platform. Melly Bortlen chaos, courtroom explodes, and secret betrayals were trending nationwide, while memes, reaction videos, and conspiracy threads proliferated. Inside, the legal teams were quietly strategizing. Oz aware that every public moment could influence the narrative and possibly the verdict itself. Even late into the night, discussions raged. Fans were dissecting every angle, why Bortlen remained calm, why Melly broke down, and what the hidden messages and alleged betrayals meant. Analysts debated whether the courtroom theatrics were genuine emotional breakdowns or calculated moves designed to sway opinions. One thing was certain, this was no ordinary trial. This was a saga of fame, loyalty, betrayal, and raw emotion that had captivated the nation and left everyone wondering what could possibly happen next. By the end of the day, insiders reported that both rappers were exhausted, physically and emotionally. Melly had been visibly shaken, while Bortlen had maintained a controlled exterior. But sources noted a subtle tension that suggested cracks in his calm facade. The family, fans, and media were left in suspense, collectively holding their breath for the next round of explosive revelations. Outside, the streets remained alive with live streams, debates, and fervent discussions, ensuring that the story would continue to dominate the headlines, fueling speculation and emotion for days to come. The tension inside the courthouse reached a fever pitch the next morning. Word had spread overnight that the day would bring the most critical testimonies yet, and the energy outside reflected that. Fans were camping for hours, live streaming updates, and analyzing every move of YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen as they arrived. Melly walked in slowly, head down, looking like someone carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Every camera flash felt like a spotlight on his guilt. Bortlen, true to form, entered with his calm, almost unnervingly composed demeanor, scanning the room as if plotting the next move in a high-stakes chess game. Court insiders said it was tense beyond belief, like a storm ready to break. The first testimony set the tone immediately. A close friend of the duo's crew, one who had been silent until now, revealed chilling details about the events leading up to the night that changed everything. According to the witness, there were threats, whispered plans, and arguments that nobody outside could understand. The tension was unbearable. It was only a matter of time before something snapped. The courtroom reportedly went silent as the words sank in. Melly's hands were shaking. He stared at the table in front of him. He was seemingly replaying the events in his head. Bortlen, however, remained poised, his expression unreadable, but sources say his fingers were tapping subtly on the arm of his chair, a signal of internal tension. Then came a twist that sent shockwaves through the proceedings. The prosecution played a series of phone recordings that allegedly captured conversations between Melly, Bortlen, and members of their inner circle. In the recordings, voices could be heard accusing each other of betrayal, threatening loyalty, and debating who should take responsibility. According to insiders, Melly's voice cracked react in one of the clips. "I trusted you. I can't believe you'd do this." Bortlen's response was colder, almost detached. "You should have known better. This is the real world." The room reportedly shuddered with the intensity of the exchange. Family members gasped, and the audience whispered as though afraid to break the tension. A dramatic courtroom confrontation unfolded shortly afterward. Melly reportedly turned to Bortlen and said, under his breath but audible to those nearby, "You knew they were coming for us, didn't you?" Bortlen's reply was sharp and icy. "And what were you gonna do about it? You think I needed your permission?" Court insiders described the moment as electric, the kind of real-life drama that transcends legal proceedings and feels like a blockbuster movie. Fans outside immediately captured the gestures and posted clips online, sparking a frenzy of speculation. Who was really at fault? Who was betraying whom? Every move became a viral moment. The drama intensified when a surprise witness appeared, one claiming to have been present at a secret meeting that allegedly set the stage for the fatal events. According to their testimony, arguments had turned physical, alliances had shifted in real time, and one crucial decision made that night sealed the fate of everyone involved. "It was like watching loyalty implode in front of me," the witness said. "One wrong move, one misplaced word, and it all exploded." Insiders described Melly visibly flinching during the testimony, while Bortlen's calm exterior remained intact but reportedly carried an undercurrent of tension that didn't escape anyone. Then came a shocking twist that nobody saw coming. A close family member of Melly's claimed that Bortlen had secretly met with an external party the night before the incident, hinting at possible interference or manipulation. "I never trusted him," the family member said, tears streaming down her face. "Something wasn't right, and I warned Melly, but he didn't listen." The courtroom reportedly erupted into whispers, gasps, and stunned silence. Melly buried his face in his hands, while Bortlen's reaction was subtle but noticeable. A small twitch, a tightening of the jaw. Fans outside were going wild, posting every snippet of the testimony and theorizing endlessly about what it could mean. The prosecution wasn't finished. They presented financial documents and evidence allegedly showing disputes over money and loyalty, painting a picture of tension that had been simmering for months. Sources said that the documents revealed secrets about trust, betrayal, and greed, making it almost impossible for the audience to know who was telling the truth. According to insiders, Melly glanced at Bortlen with a mixture of disbelief and hurt, while Bortlen remained composed, scanning the room for reactions. Fans online immediately began dissecting the documents, creating viral content with dramatic interpretations of the evidence. Then came the most emotional moment of the day. Melly's mother, standing again, poured her heart out in a plea for understanding and compassion. "He made mistakes," she said, voice trembling, "but he is still my son. He still has a chance to be more than this headline. You have to see the human side." Court insiders described the courtroom as holding its collective breath, the weight of emotion palpable. Bortlen's family reportedly sat in stunned silence, while fans online debated whether her testimony would sway anyone or if it would just deepen the tension. And the moment went viral within minutes, shared across social media as a defining emotional high point of the trial. A final twist hit when a former associate, previously silent, revealed that there had been secret communications that contradicted earlier claims. According to the witness, Melly and Bortlen were not the only ones involved. Other members of the crew had made decisions that contributed to the chaos. They were caught in a web of their own making. The witness said, "The night was doomed from the start." Court insiders reported that both Melly and Bortlen exchanged a brief glance, loaded with meaning, a subtle acknowledgement that the testimony struck closer to home than they could admit. Fans outside instantly speculated who else was involved, and would more names be revealed in the coming days. By the afternoon, the intensity reached a boiling point. Melly and Bortlen were both visibly exhausted but maintained their focus. The prosecution called for one final review of the evidence before the judge, presenting a combination of videos, recordings, and messages that allegedly painted a picture of betrayal, greed, and desperation. Court insiders said it was almost cinematic, like watching a thriller unfold in real life. Every gesture, every glance, every whispered word had meaning. Outside, fans live-streamed every moment, creating a feedback loop of speculation and viral content. As the day drew to a close, a dramatic confrontation in the hallway reportedly occurred. Witnesses claimed that Melly confronted Bortlen one last time, emotions running high. "You lied to me," Melly allegedly shouted. Ours, "You let it happen." Bortlen's response was reportedly cold and calculated. "I did what I had to do. Welcome to reality." Courtroom staff quickly intervened, separating the two before the situation escalated. Clips of the incident were uploaded online almost immediately, sending fans into a frenzy and sparking viral debates about loyalty, betrayal, and who was truly responsible for the chaos. By nightfall, the courthouse was emptying, but the story was far from over. Social media exploded with reaction videos, memes, and debates. Fans analyzed every word, every gesture, every subtle sign of emotion, creating content that dominated feeds for hours. Influencers and rap news channels dissected the events frame by frame, speculating on what the final verdict could be and who, if anyone, had truly orchestrated the chaos. Everyone agreed. The saga of YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen had reached a level of drama that no one could have anticipated. Insiders reported that both rappers spent the evening in quiet reflection, understanding that the next day could change everything. Melly was reportedly pacing, reviewing notes, and preparing for the final statements, while Bortlen remained calm, though a subtle tension under his composed exterior suggested he was calculating his next moves. Family members were said to be divided, some pleading for mercy, others angry and frustrated. Fans online were already debating possible outcomes, creating speculation threads that went viral within minutes. By the end of the night, it was clear that the story had become more than just a legal proceeding. It had transformed into a cultural phenomenon, a saga of fame, loyalty, betrayal, and raw emotion that had captured the attention of an entire nation. Social media platforms were ablaze with discussions, theories, and fan reactions. Every revelation, every testimony, every glance exchanged between Melly and Bortlen fueled speculation, and the suspense was almost unbearable. No one knew what the next day would bring, but one thing was certain. The story of YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen had reached a climax of drama, and the world was watching. Fans, family, and the media alike were glued to every update, waiting for the final moments that could define the legacies of two of hip-hop's most controversial figures. And just like that, the verdict is in YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen have been sentenced. And the hip-hop world is still reeling. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the family is left divided. They're trying to make sense of a saga that feels bigger than life. Some are calling it justice finally served, while others are asking if the system got it right, or if fame, betrayal, and all the chaos behind the scenes are still hiding secrets we'll never know. Social media is buzzing non-stop with theories, memes, and reactions flying faster than you can scroll. Every angle, every whispered detail, every courtroom glance is being analyzed, debated, and replayed, and honestly, it's hard to keep up. The questions remain. Could Melly and Bortlen have made different choices? Were there betrayals that went deeper than anyone realized? How will this change the culture, the music, and the fans who've supported them for years? And most importantly, what happens next in the lives of these young men, both in prison and in the court of public opinion? White's fans are divided, some mourning the downfall of two rising stars, others feeling justice was inevitable. But one thing is undeniable, this story has left a permanent mark on hip-hop history. Now it's your turn. What do you think really happened? Was this a case of loyalty lost, fame gone too far, or something even bigger we haven't uncovered? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, let the debate rage, and make sure to smash that like button if you were shook by this courtroom saga. Don't forget to subscribe for all the latest exclusive updates, because with a story this wild, you never know what twist could come next. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of drama, and stay tuned, because the fallout from this case is far from over, and we'll be breaking down every explosive detail as it happens.